Hello, welcome to the HR Diary. Today, I'm going to show you step by step how to use Excel shortcut keys from A to Z. These shortcut keys help me to work faster, increasing my productivity. I hope that it will also enhance your productivity after you learn these tricks. Let's start with Control A shortcut. Control A is a shortcut for select all. If I place my cursor anywhere in the worksheet and press Ctrl A on my keyboard, the entire worksheet gets selected. But if I place my cursor in this box where there are data surrounding it and press Ctrl A, only the data around it here gets selected. Similarly, if I place my cursor in this box and press Ctrl A, only the data around it gets selected. So, depending on where you place your cursor, you can use Ctrl A to either select the entire worksheet or select the data around where you place your cursor at. The next shortcut is Ctrl B. Ctrl B is a shortcut for bold. So let's place the cursor at the word copy and press Ctrl B. You'll see that the word copy becomes bold. If I press Ctrl B again, you'll see that the word copy is no longer in bold. Now, the next shortcut is Ctrl C. Ctrl C is the shortcut for copy. Now, let's place the cursor at the word italic here and press Ctrl C to copy it. Well, what good would copying be if you can't put it somewhere? So when we copy something, we have to paste it with Ctrl V. So let me click here and press Ctrl V. So I have copied it using Ctrl C, the word italic, and I use Ctrl V to paste it. So I can click here and paste it again. And I can click here and press Ctrl V to again place it here. So the thing with the copy function is that it leaves the original copy in place here. Right? So now let me copy the green cells here by selecting here and pressing Ctrl C, and then I select here and press Ctrl V to paste over it. Next, the next shortcut that I want to show you is Ctrl D. Ctrl D is a shortcut for view down. So let's type the month January here. I want to fill the word January down this column to here. So if I put my cursor at January and drag it down, right, I will not get January. Instead, I will get January to December. This is not what I want. So what can I do? I will press Ctrl Z, which is undo. All right, for undo, let me press Ctrl Z. And you see, it undoes everything. Now let's try again to fill the word January down this column to somewhere around here. All right. So this time, select the cells from January to the cells below it and press this Ctrl D, the fill down. Ctrl D. Now you'll see that January is filled down here. Now let's delete and move to the next example. Control E. So the next shortcut is Control E. Control E is a shortcut for flash fill. In this example, I want to extract the first 3 characters in the cell. So to get the first 3 characters in the cell, in this field, let me type SEL, which is the first 3 character of this cell, and then press Control E in the cell below it. You can press anywhere below it. Control and E. Alright, so you can see the first 3 character of each cell is generated in column D. Action, so A, C, T, S, E, L, E, O, L. So the first 3 characters are generated here. Everything in here, there's 3 characters except for this. There is only 2 characters here. And this is because the third character is a space, GO space TO. So there's a space here. That's why there is only, you can only see 2 characters. Now let's delete it. So here I have extracted the first 3 characters. Now we can also extract the last 3 characters. Let me show you how we do it. So to get the last 3 character of a cell, right, type the last 3 character. So for example, here we type ALL, which is all. And then at any cell below it, press Control E. Notice that there are more, although it gives you the last 3 characters, OLD, OPY, you can see the last characters there, but it actually gives you more than 3 characters for a few of the cells. So if you just want 3 characters, how do you fix this? You need to train Excel by typing the last 3 characters at least twice. So now, let's redo this by deleting all this again. So now, let's type ALL here. Now, we don't just type once, but we type twice. So we give Excel another example. Other than AL, the last 3 character is OLD. So we are giving Excel 2 examples. We are training the Excel on one. E1. Then at any of the columns below this, press Control E. You'll see that the last 3 characters of each cell is now generated in column D. So it's pretty neat now. Again, except for this character TO, there's only 2 characters because there's a space here. The third character is the space here. Now let's delete this and move on to the next example. The next shortcut that I want to show you is Control F. Control F is a shortcut for find. So if I press Control F, the find and replace dialog box appears. In the find what field, type in what you want to find. Here, let's say I want to find the word work book. So I will type in the find what, the word workbook here. Visually, I can see workbook is here and here and here, but sometimes you have a whole big Excel of words. So I type in this, and then I click on to find next. You'll notice that the cursor stops at what I want to find. I want to find workbook, so the cursor is here. So again, if I click on Find Next again, the cursor will stop at the next workbook, which is here. And I click Find Next again, it stops here, and Find Next again, it stops here. It searches all the workbook for me. So now, let's close this and move on to the next example. The next shortcut key that I want to explain is Control G. Control G is a shortcut for go to. So, for example, if you want to go to cell B3, press Control G. So this go to dialog box appears. Then in this reference field, type B3, the cell that you want to go to, and click OK. And your cursor lands up here in B3. So if you want to go to B5, let's again press Control and G. So I want to go to say B5. So I will type B5 and click OK. And I go to Excel brings me to this cell B5. The next shortcut key is Control H. Control H is a shortcut for replace. So now, if I want to replace the word work here, save workbook to save sheets, for example, what I can do is I press Control and H. So this find and replace dialog box appears. And this time I am in this tab, replace. So here in the find what field, type in the word workbook. If it isn't already here, type in the workbook. And I want to replace it with sheet. Then let's click on to find next, and it goes to here. So your cursor will go to the word workbook. So if you this save workbook, and if you click replace, you will see that the word workbook, save workbook is changed to the word save sheet. So let's click on to replace. Here it is. It changes to save sheet. Then I can again click find next, and it goes to here, and I click on replace, find next, replace, and find next, replace. So when you are done, you can press close. Z is a shortcut for undo. Now, if I press Ctrl Z, I will undo all this that I just did. So let me press Ctrl Z. So it replaces one. Ctrl Z again, and it undoes another one. Ctrl Z, undo this, and if I press Ctrl Z again, you undo this. Ctrl Z. All right. Next, the next shortcut that I want to go through is Control I. Control I is a shortcut for italic. Now, if I select the word find and I press Control I, you'll see that the text find is now in italics. So if I do not want it in italic, or I want to undo it, for example, I just need to press Control I again on my keyboard, and it's no longer in italics. Next, Control J. Control J here is blank because there's no shortcut for it. If you press Control J on your keyboard, you will notice that nothing happens because there isn't a shortcut for this. The next shortcut that I want to go through is Control K. Control K is a shortcut for hyperlink. You can place a hyperlink to any text using Control K. Now let's try by selecting the cell print and then press Control K. Right? So if you press Control K, hyperlink, you will see the dialog box insert hyperlink here. So you can put a hyperlink to any text using Control K. Now let's try by putting in the address. For example, you can type in the address www.google.com and hit OK. You will see that the word print is now in hyperlink. So when you click on that hyperlink, you open google.com on your default browser. So if I click on this, you'll see the browser open. So now, what if I want to remove this hyperlink? How do I do it? Again, you put your cursor there and then press Control K. And you see this button, remove link. Click on it. And the hyperlink is removed. Next, the next shortcut is Control L. Control L is a shortcut to create table. Here I have some data. So how do I format this into a table? I'll press Control and L. The Create Table dialog box appears. By default, Excel selected this table because my cursor was inside this table. And my table has headers here. So I check the headers and click OK. And so the Excel table is created. So how do I know if the table is created? Firstly, this table looks different from the other tables here. And next, you will see that you now have a table design menu. So when you click outside this table, the table design menu is gone. To return to the table, click inside this table and you see the table design menu here again. So to remove this table, so you go to table design and click on convert to range and click yes. And this is now back to a normal range. Okay, next, Control M is blank as there is no shortcut for this. So if you press Control M, nothing will happen. The next shortcut key that I want to go through is the Control N. Control M, there's no shortcut. Now I want to go through Control N. Control N is a shortcut for new workbook. So if you press Control N, a new workbook will appear. So let's try Control N, and you see a new workbook appears. The next shortcut is Control W. Control W is a shortcut for close workbook. So if you press Control W on Control W, you will close this workbook. So now let's press Control W. Yep. Control W. So I have closed the workbook. The next shortcut that I want to go through is Open Workbook. Control O is a shortcut for Open Workbook. So to open a workbook, press Control O. And you can click on Browse to find your file and open it. Now let's get back here. All right, by the way, you can use you can select this and use Format Printer to format it to a similar look. Next, Control P. Control P is a shortcut for print. So if you press Control P, it will bring you to the page where you can print your document. and you can just click green here. Next, Control Q. This is a blank as there's no shortcut for it. So again, if you try pressing Control key on your keyboard, you don't have any shortcut there. Next, Control R. So Control R is a shortcut for fill right. So if you select the cells from the word, for example, fill right, to the cells right of it, and press Control R, it will fill the word fill right to the right of the cell to where you selected until. So if you remember, I taught you about Control D. Control D is the shortcut for fill down. So if you select the words, the cells from the word fill right to the cells below it and press Control D, it will fill the word fill right downwards. Now, Control Z is to undo. So let's press Control Z one time to undo and Control Z another time to undo it again. Now let's move on to Control S. Control S is a shortcut for save workbook. To show you how to save a workbook, let me open a new workbook first by pressing Control N. Now, if you press Control S, you will see the save dialog box. Now let's close this and close this to move on to the next example. The next shortcut is the Control T. So both Control L and Control T is a shortcut for create table. So let me show you how to create a table again. It actually works the same, but let's try Control T. So now I have placed my cursor at the word cut. So if I press Control T, sorry, let's try again. I place my Control cut and I press Control T. The create table dialog box appears. So by default, Excel has selected this table because my cursor was inside this table here. And my table has headers this, so this I make sure that it's checked. Click OK, and this becomes a table. When it is a table, you will see that you now have the table design menu. So when you click outside the table design menu is gone. To return to the table, click inside the table. So if I want to revert this back to a normal range like this, go to the table design. Make sure you click here first, then go to the table design, click convert to range, and click OK. And the table is back to a normal range. Now, the next shortcut is Control U. Control U is a shortcut for underline. Let's place the cursor at Control U here and press Control U. You'll see that Control U is now underlined. Now, if I press Control U again, we can remove the underline. Now, let's move on to Control B shortcut. Control B is a shortcut for paste. But before you can paste, you need to copy something. So let's select the text, Control V, and press Control C to copy. Then I'll put the cursor at the cell that I want to paste the data, for example here, and press Control V to paste the data here. Control Z is a shortcut for undo. Now, if I press Control Z, I undo what I just did. The next shortcut is Ctrl W. Ctrl W is a shortcut for close workbook. So if you press Ctrl Workbook, this workbook will close. Next, Ctrl X. Ctrl X is a shortcut for cut. To cut a cell, select it, for example this, and press Ctrl X to cut it. Then put the cursor at the cell where you want to paste the data, for example here, and press Ctrl V. And you'll see that the data cut has been cut from here and using Ctrl X and pasted here using Ctrl V. The next shortcut I want to show you is Ctrl Z. So Ctrl Z is a shortcut for undo. Now, if I press Ctrl Z, I undo what I just did. And I can use Ctrl Y to press Ctrl Y, which is a shortcut for redo. So if I press Ctrl Y, it redo what I just did. I can again press Ctrl Z to undo it. Alright, that's it. I've shown you how to use Excel shortcut keys from Ctrl A all the way to Ctrl Z. Hopefully you find this video useful. If you did, please give this video a thumbs up. Thanks for watching. If you are not a subscriber, click the link below to subscribe so you'll get notified about similar videos that we upload. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to the HR Diary channel.